The following is a special presentation of iRacing on LSRTV, your home for sim racing.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome once again to LSRTV here in the Superspeedway Cup Series. Rachel Wyford and Brandon Cruz-Monsivice joining you tonight for duel race number 1. Yeah, that's right. We have the duels at Daytona tonight, and wow, racing under the lights here at the World Center of Motor Racing. Good evening and welcome once again. Tonight, it's going to be 2 50-lap races, 2 chances for the top 14 from each duel to lock themselves into starting positions for the 500. It's going to be an interesting night, of course, and our race is split up into 2 tonight, so that will make things very interesting. Of course, the way it's going to run for the gridding for the 500 is first and second, of course, locked in from last week's solo qualifying. That's Rod Flag on pole, Rodney Wofford in second place. It's your front row for the 500 next week. 3rd through 30th, well, they'll go to the top 14 from each of these races, as I mentioned. Then 31st through 36th are in on qualifying speeds, 37th to 42nd on season 15 points, if they're not already locked in, that is. 43rd is a past champion provisional, so the champion, if they're not locked in, well, they have themselves a spot. Tonight, of course, going to be really exciting. The racing tonight, we have our drivers for our 2 races. We'll go through the drivers for race number 1 in the grid section of that one. Of course, Brandon, these duel races, you're running in duel number 2 tonight, so it's going to be a busy night.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be a busy night for myself and a lot of the drivers. Luckily, I'm locked into the main event next week. A lot of these guys aren't. I mean, it's close to 60-something guys, 36 guys in each race fighting for 43 spots, and 15 of them are already taken up by us, being locked in. I think that leaves 28 guys that are going to be racing their way in, or 28 positions, rather, and I think Rod's probably going to split that down the middle and have 14 from each duel qualify in, so it's going to be a busy night for a lot of these guys if you're not locked in.
Certainly is, of course. The guys who did lock themselves in are already in these races, so they're still going to be in a position to have some fun. Of course, Rodney Wofford in duel number 2, and we have Rod Flag in duel number 1. He's currently running 5th place or so in qualifying, 6th place, I believe, right now. But they're just in the practice sessions right now, putting some laps in, doing some time. We'll have to see how this one plays out. This is his last chance saloon, really, for Mark Jorgensen Jr. He didn't finish last week's race, of course. He was in serious trouble at the shootout, so he wants to get a good run here. He should qualify himself in, of course. Brandon, should be nice and easy for someone as seasoned as him.
Yeah, I mean, Mark Jorgensen, he's second on the charts right now with Chris Passini. They're a couple of the favorites in this duel right now. I mean, they're the guys that have laps upon laps upon laps at Daytona. They've been in this series rather for a lot of seasons. They've gotten wins. They know how to drive. They have the experience of racing around a pack with different guys, whether they be new guys or older ones. They've just done it a whole lot in this series, and they know what to do in situations. They have that experience going for them, and it's going to be interesting to watch them put that on the track tonight and just see how far they can move up the field.
Absolutely, and well, we're ready for our gridding right now. We're going to run to your starting order for tonight's race. On on pole tonight, of course, from his qualifying position, Rod Flag. In fact, these drivers are all gridded by their qualifying speeds last time out when they did the solo qualifying. So Rod Flag on pole tonight with Mark Jorgensen Jr. joining on the front row. Chris Bassini in third place, second row with Harry Tiller. Row number 3, Lucas Cram and Glenn Hedrick in sixth place. Levine and Ron Evans in the fourth row, and fifth row, Victor Bartlett and Gary Champion.
Sixth row inside is going to be Robert Lyons. Kenny Henry's going to start outside of him. 13th belongs to Greg Hooks. I got a little rusty at this, haven't done it in a while. 14th, Alexander Russell. Daniel Holloway starting 15th. 16th belongs to Corey Smith. 17th, Paul Payne. Kyle Maynard is going to start on his outside in 18th. Chris Patton 19th, and Joey, oh, I'm going to butcher that name. Picolella starting 20th.
It's a great name. Running up the end because he couldn't be bothered finishing 2 more. It's Matthew Almany and J.R. Hager. So, well, tonight's first dual race coming up, guys. Don't forget, there are 2 races tonight. 2 full-on races for you. So this will be double the fun here in LSRTV in the Super Speedway Cup Series. Rod Flag leads the field round for the start of this one. Rod's in no trouble here, of course, Brandon. He is locked in. He's happy. He's racing for fun at this point.
Oh yeah, he has the pole. He has nothing to lose. He's coming out here for fun. I mean, this is the duels. You won't learn anything from not being aggressive, and it's a Super Speedway Cup Series duels at Daytona. And every position you finish in front of another car is another row. You start closer to the front row next Friday. So every position counts. It basically counts as 2 positions really for next race. So you really can't afford to not be aggressive here, especially if you're not locked in. I mean, if you're locked in, you're pretty much just going for a qualifying position up front. If you're not locked in, you're just trying to get in the top 14.
Absolutely, and as you saw on the graphic, of course, a minute ago, 2.5 miles, 31 degrees of banking. The cars are coming through right now, down towards the front stretch, and the field will be under command of Rod Flag as we go for the green flag in duel number 1 tonight. Pace car takes that long left-hand turn down to pit road, and we're about to get racing here. Green flag flies, we're away.
Outside line's going to get in the mate. Oh, sorry, my bad there.
As I say, it's a great start by Jorgensen Jr. out front, who just completely free shot on his own to the low side in front of Flag. That is one of the first times I've ever seen second place have the jump on the start there to actually beat the leader.
You know, it was really interesting. It was like Rod Flag wanted to let him in, but I didn't see Rod Flag really let off the gas or anything. It just seemed like Mark Jorgensen really beat him, just like the high side's doing right now with Harry. They're trying to get around Rod right now. I thought Harry would have a little bit more momentum there. It looked like he would, but the inside's just going to get a lot more connected than the outside right now. So right now it's a 2-car length lead for the inside lane. Probably going to go to 3-car lengths as they're in the center of 3 and 4.
Certainly on the outside, falling apart there. It's Hedrick, the 83 machine, just a little bit further back. Ramon Evans, along with Chris Bassini there, Harry Tiller. That outside line, sorry, just not quite as... Oh, as Rod Flag looked like he wanted to move up, but in the end was like, nope, you are not coming up here. As Bassini was just a little bit overlapped, and he had to make a quick swing back to the inside. And this one is certainly got a good vibe to it so far, Brandon. These guys are pushing pretty hard, but everyone's single filing out very early. I was surprised people aren't running to try and get towards the front super early. Seems as though Bassini and Tiller are the only ones left out there. We might actually have a quiet race in duel number 1.
You know, there's a couple incidents in the middle of the pack right there because we kind of got separated a lot more than we usually do on the first lap. But, I mean, right now the top 10's pretty much separated from the rest of the pack. And like you said, everyone's pretty much single file except the number 1 and 69 on the outside lane right now. I'm not really sure what happened there. Just a couple checking ups, a couple drivers not really paying attention, and the field kind of just separated. So like you said, it should be a pretty tame heat. Usually in these duels, usually one is really chaotic and the other one's really calm. Right now, this one's pretty much looking like the calm one at this point.
Yeah, it really is, and we'll have to see if that one does progress as normal. Of course, normal rules apply. We do have full course cautions as usual. Cautions, of course, eat up laps, and laps mean time to make places in this race. And so far, of course, it'll be the top 14 that lock themselves in. So right now, those outside that, Patton, Henry, Russell, Manja, Picolella, Almany, Hager, and Cram, all those drivers are outside your window. So we'll lose 8 drivers in this one, who will have to go in on points. Some of those drivers may not have much opportunity. Well, they're going on speed, I should say, so some of them could be okay. But your top 14 don't really want to fight here because they're all in, Brandon. They have no problems whatsoever. That leaves the 10 on our cutoff line. That's Corey Smith. Behind him, Chris Patton in the 71 will be wanting to get up to that 14th spot.
Yeah, you know, speaking of that, I was talking to Alexander in 91 earlier before the race. He was asking me, Brandon, what do you do in these situations if you're not locked in? And I was telling him, well, really, you have to make a pit stop for obvious reasons. You can only go about 22 laps on a tank of fuel here. So I was telling him...
stops in this.
Well, I was going to get to that, actually. So I was telling him, we just got to make it to the first caution, pretty much. If you're not locked in after that, you got to try and get more aggressive. You can pretty much guarantee that there'll be a caution after the initial pit stop. That's just usually what happens in these dual races. I mean, it's not guaranteed, but typically you can make it on one pit stop with the cautions that happen in the duels. So that's what I was telling him to do. And if he can make it to the inside lane, just stay there the whole race. That's pretty much the one. Is right now Chris is trying to get a run on Rod, and it looks like he is going to get by him and contend or fight Mark Jorgensen for the lead right now, as he has Harry behind him.
Certainly does have Harry Tiller behind him, and well, this one's starting to get a bit more lively in the outside lane here as they've been joined by Ramon Evans once again. So now we've got Cassini making a charge there on Jorgensen Jr., who's back in the 88 machine this week. So it looks like the 87 didn't really provide him much, or 78, sorry, didn't provide him much luck. The 88 rolls out once again here. Familiar numbering, familiar car for Mark Jorgensen Jr. A different junior this week, and perhaps a luckier one, because last week was not so lucky. It's just Tiller and Evans now on the outside as Bassini got past, and looks like Hedrick will come up and join the duo, see if they can get more cars moving forwards, because we've got a bit of a push coming here. The 18, the 7 also hopping up as Hedrick drops back down again, and these guys having to decide priorities. Keep your position in this top 14 or make a charge for the front.
Yeah, well, right now it's 6 cars on the inside versus 2 lone warriors on the outside right now. Nothing the outside line can really do right now. You don't really want to check up or anything to get behind them, because you're going to either lose positions, or you could wait for Gary Champion in the 18 to slowly get up to you with Greg Hooks. They look like they got a lot of momentum, and they'll probably be up here eventually. Eventually will probably be in turns 3 and 4 as Harry and Raymond slowly creep their way back. Not that they want to, they're just losing speed of the inside lane.
Certainly are, of course, and you got to think about it. Starting position isn't really relevant in super speedway racing. You can start anywhere in the pack when you got a long race, and you can get your way to the front if you've got the speed and the car. So these guys aren't too bothered about where they start in this 500, of course, other than the fact they do start.
You know, it really depends on what type of race you're running. If it stays green the whole time, I mean, of course you want to start up in front. That gives you the best opportunity to be there at the end. But if it's a crash fest, I mean, you either want to be up in the front or right in the rear. You never want to be, you never want to be in the middle.
Absolutely, that's one of those Daytona 500 sort of conundrums. If you, well, do you go out and qualify unless you're sure you're likely to qualify at the front? Do you qualify because you want to stay towards the rear? Of course, in a series like this where you have to qualify to get into the event. Well, there's a conundrum. Being in the event is better than not being in it, so it's a case of get it what you can.
You know, I'm looking at the cars, and there must have been a heck of a checkup to really break up this field, because I'm looking at a lot of cars that have actually severe damage. Big wreck out of 4.
That was the 18 car, Gary Champion.
Oh, and they're still wrecking close to pit road.
4, yeah, it was 4. And it looks as though Champion was, no, it was not Champion actually, it was up ahead of Champion. It was the 21 Hedrick. Glenn Hedrick with problems there. What happened to him? Replay showing you, and it's Tiller. Tiller pushing in the corner. The Ford Fusion there of Harry Tiller gets into the back left corner of Hedrick and just rubs him the wrong way. Gets the left corner, round he goes, and there's your problems.
It's not like Hitler meant to do that. He just got there. He hit the corner that, man, you want to push him there, but you certainly don't want to like smack him there. And then as you were yelling out the caution, I kept watching, and the crowd, they would get through the initial wreck and then get caught up in the one that was happening in front of pit road. So it pretty much involved close to 8 cars, really, or at least 8 cars that have damage from that.
Certainly has done. Everyone getting themselves back in order now, of course. Number of drivers here going to backup cars, but this resets us, and this is one of those cautions you talked about. Lap 9, you're halfway to a fuel tank, realistically here, Brandon. Is this a point where you just stay out and hope?
Ah, man, it's tough. Like I said, it all depends on where you're at. Yeah. Well, I guess that answers that question right there.
Yeah, everyone's coming down pit road, we think. No one's going to gamble with the, I'm going to stay out here and hope we go to the caution, maybe use this as one of my opportunities to not come in for fuel.
Well,
So
at this
everyone's
point,
gonna come down. Oh, we have one stay out, I believe. No, that's actually I think that is actually the car there of
I think it's Hendrick.
Hedrick. Yeah, so that is his very destroyed race car. He's staying out to go around for some reason.
That's crazy. Everyone went in there. I guess they're looking at it where you can pit at lap 30 and make it on one pit stop from here.
His pit stop, that was a little bit... Oh, he has major problems. Jorgensen Jr. has huge problems. I need to work out what's just happened to him because he spun. He spun coming into his box. He came in and he just lost the back end. That's unusual. I don't think I've ever seen that. He comes in and loops himself around backwards into his pit box. That is unconventional. I'll give him that. And his car was still jacked up when he was driving out of the pit box, so they put the jack under it backwards, and then he tried to drive out of the pit box to center it again, and I have never seen that in my entire career, either driving or commentating. Mark Jorgensen Jr. trying to leave pit road whilst jacked up. That is unconventional.
Man, Tanner Faust is probably clapping his hands right now because Jorgensen did a heck of a drift entering pit road there. But man, I don't know what happened there. I don't know if he had a loose wheel or what. He just kind of got on the brakes and it flipped him around. That was weird. I've never seen that either.
Yeah, that is real surreal. I mean, I've never seen a car behave that way. I mean, I know we have actual pit crew, you know, on the pit road now for these drivers. Maybe one of them got confused. He came in backwards, they jacked up the wrong side, they forgot to drop it, and as he pulled out to try and turn around, and yeah, that's weird. I mean, he just lost the car.
I've certainly never seen anything like that before. Luckily, no one got injured from that. That's the good thing about sim racing.
Hey, it's me in the production booth for a minute because I can't believe what I saw, but apparently the 88, for whatever reason, the car, like, suspension collapsed on the left side. I've never seen anything like it before. And he had to reset the car, take it back down the pit box, but I don't know what to make of that. I've never seen anything like that before.
I've seen it once, Cisco, one time, but that time it happened, the entire truck jacked up on both sides, and it became something you'd go mudding with.
Yeah, this was just one side. I
think he got confused when he pitted backwards.
Well, no, because the car was doing that before he even got to the pit box. He went to turn into his pit stall, and for whatever reason, the suspension just went nope. And I don't know.
It looks like iRacing has random failures because Mark Jorgensen Jr.'s suspension apparently failed on his car.
But Brandon, that's 2 bad races in a row for Jorgensen. The curse is on, I guess.
He thought switch numbers may have fixed that, but I guess it didn't. Maybe he got all of it out of the way early, you know? Maybe he's just getting rid of his bad luck right now and he's going to come back and win it.
I don't know, but that was odd, so I just wanted to come in because what I saw on my screen was something I've never seen before in the sim. That was weird.
The surreal nature of sim racing, folks. When computers go wrong, they go wrong in usually fairly entertaining ways, Brandon.
Right, it's like a processor couldn't keep up with it right there. Either way, I believe we're at, what is it, 2 to go right now? 1 to go? Something along there. I believe Jorgensen got it.
We have laps before we go back to green flag.
Right. At some point. At some point. Anyway, it looks like a lot of guys didn't... No, sorry about that. Like I said, just dusting the rust off. I got to get back in it. I've been wanting to do this for a long time. A lot of guys didn't use their reset right now. Like Paul Payne in the 20 still has damage on his car. Corey Henry still has rear end damage to his car. A couple other guys. Jorgensen obviously got it fixed. Hendrick, involved in the crash there, got his fixed. But there's still a handful of guys that have damage, like J.R. Hager and all those guys. It's gambling at that point. Do you really want to stay out there with a torn-up race car and risk aerodynamic disabilities, or fix your car? You know.
Well, that's the thing. You're likely to be able to stay with the pack, and if the damage is light enough, you're likely, or to the rear, for example, you're likely to be able to stay out and hold on to the pack and keep position. Do you want to really have damage later and no fast repair, and in a position where you can't take that back about, and all of a sudden you are down at the below the cutoff line without anything you can do about it?
It all depends on what's going on there.
It certainly does, as you go full cycle. Our production office have stopped messing with the channel. We should be able to carry on communicating here as we go. For this restart, which will be this lap by 23 of flag, Bassini. And then, of course, it's Vine, Bartlett, Patton, Lyons, Russell, Hanniger, and Evans. So this will be a fun restart. Pace car will pull to the left again, and field once again under the commander rod flag as the green flag will wave. Back under conditions. And we're back racing here again at Daytona, and well, we're going to see how this one will go this time by. Second chance saloon for these guys as we come through 1 and 2 on the restart. Lap number 13 here. Laps on this 50-lap duel are winding down surprisingly quickly. 42 of Bartlett drops down. Pizzini on his own. 49 still up high, but well, Robbie Lyons looking for a gap, and he finds one. He will drop in line. So Bartlett's going to help Pizzini though at this point, as it's certainly going to be, hopefully, well, he'll have to drop back on his own, I believe, at this point, as no one to go with him actually at this point. So it's Brandon looking pretty busy.
It is. I mean, we're right back to what we were talking about. Chris Bassini's on the outside right now, and he has the option to either duck onto the inside or like kind of check out the inside lane and work his way back in there like he's doing now, or stay on the outside and risk losing all those positions. Later in the race, you're not going to see them line in line unless they need to be locked in. Like right now, the battle right now is for 9th place with Raymond Evans and JR. They're pretty much the only pack up here, with Jorgensen Jr. right at the end of that, 12th place. And he started close to the end of the pack on that restart, so it's mighty impressive how he already got back up there.
Senier's opportune timing here has got him now in the opportunity to have a good run at this one, as Bassini, yellow flag will fly.
Out of 4.
We had a big crash out of 4 again, and we'll tell you what happened, but I believe it involves the 7 of Greg Hooks right in the middle of that one. Replay coming up for you, as we'll see this one. And oh, the 25 comes down. 25 of Kyle Manja comes down, tips the 7 up the track, hits the number 9. Round they all go, and shenanigans. Once again, same location.
You know, turn 4 is really odd with the setup that we're running. You don't have as much downforce as we've had in previous seasons, so whenever you get there, I mean, any turn of the wheel is very sensitive, whether you're on the inside or outside. I think that's what the 25 did. He just wasn't, I don't want to say not paying attention, he just wasn't expecting it to turn down that fast. Because Kyle, I mean, Kyle's one of the best guys out here. He obviously didn't mean to do that. It's just something that happens in racing. Sometimes you think you're closer than you are, or sometimes you're not as close as you think you are. Either way, it just comes down to that's racing. And
well, that was a unique way of describing it. It's slightly oxymoronic, but we'll go with that. As we're back under caution here at Daytona, likely most people will stay out at this point, or if they have some damage, they're going to come in and get some repairs done. We are going to go for a quick commercial break at this point. Stay with us, but you don't know what car's pacing for 4 laps. We'll be back shortly.
The yellow flag is out. Pit road is now open. Keep your eye on those gauges. We'll give you 4 tyres. 3, 2, 1, now. We're done. Get going.
Red Bull GRCs are now available on iRacing. I personally put my blood, sweat, and tears into this thing, developing the cars, the tracks, the dirt, making sure it is authentic as possible, and I really think you guys are going to love it. The best part is that this 600 horsepower Volkswagen Beetle is free to all members. So get signed up now and come race me online.
Welcome back to Super Speedway Cup Series here on iRacing and LSRTV. If you're freaking out about the new features, congratulations! There's new stuff. Yeah, we have new stuff. Not that new, some of it, but hey, either way, iRacing's awesome. I think is the best way to kind of continue this conversation, Brandon. Some of the new stuff coming and the new options that we've got coming down the pipeline soon. This is looking great. It's a great time to be a sim racer.
You know, 2018 has just opened so many doors for iRacing and the community to race and be a part of so many different features. So, like you said, it's going to be really awesome with GRC, dirt oval, dirt road, asphalt road, all the new tracks that are coming this year. It's going to be great. But right now we got 18 laps in the books. Pretty chaotic so far. A lot more chaotic than what I expected at the start of this race. We've already lost a couple guys. Kyle and Matthew Matthew's still in, but Kyle's been taken out. He's lost both his resets, and then other guys are still going around with torn up race cars, and it's still early in the race. We're not even halfway yet.
We're not indeed, and it's going to be an interesting second half of this race as we try and find out how this one will end up going, because there's so much time left in this, and well, it's only going to get more interesting as the time does pass by. But yeah, 1 to go this time by. We'll be going back green just now. Flag and Levine up here on the front row. We'll see how this one pans out. Lap 18 gives us 32 laps to go as the green flag will fly.
Justin and Victor trying to get that outside line working like Mark did earlier in the race, but it's just not going to happen. Chris is going to get right on Rod, although I may have spoke too soon. Justin has a little bit of a run right now. He might get a big run out of 2. We'll just have to see as they've separated from 5th and 6th. As they make contact, Chris sideways, Justin sideways again. Up into the wall goes Victor. No caution yet, although the whole field's probably going to wreck out of 2.
Yeah, caution before the caution finally flies. Are you kidding me? To be fair, nobody was sideways above the yellow line until that point.
I don't think they were going above 160 yet, which is why
everyone was still vaguely in the same direction whilst they were wrecking. They were wrecking, but they were facing the right way. Now, live marshal would have called that as a caution instantly. However, if you are still facing the right way and you've not had a loss of control in front of the pack in iRacing above the yellow line, ain't no caution coming out. So that's why that took so long for it to happen, but caution number 3 will fly here on lap 19.
Well, that's what I was waiting for. I was trying to describe what happened, and I was like, well, did I miss the yellow flag coming out? Did I miss race control calling it? But no, I was right. They didn't call the yellow yet, just because everyone was wrecking very slowly and in the right direction. They were wrecking forward in a forward direction, so stay green out of 2.
Yeah, they wrecked in the right direction.
Yeah.
That's a great way of putting it. A creative one, but it's in the right... Yeah, that works.
Wrecking in a forward direction. Yeah, I believe that's every wreck, but this is
You're coining some
perfect.
great phrases these days since you've been commentating. You are definitely coming up with some classic phrases.
Oh, 2018 is going to be my quote year. You're just going to be quoting things left and right. Well, there goes that out the door that I was saying how everyone has all right looking cars. Pretty much everyone has damage from that one.
Yeah, that is true. Everyone's cars now look completely toasted, and unfortunately, that does mean we're going to be in a situation where now people are having to be even more careful with this race as it goes forwards, because now everyone's into backup cars, and not everybody here, even who's already used a backup car, is in a position where they can bring out something new.
Then you got other drivers like Justin, for example. He got turned dead sideways and got it back straight with only minor damage to his left front, wwhereas other people that came in later in the wreck have completely destroyed cars, and they're going to be using their reset for sure, just like Craig Hooks and others. So it all depends on how lucky you were when you got into that wreck.
Certainly does, and wow, luck is going to be one of those things you will be wanting on your side for the rest of this thing if you still have a car that's intact, because there aren't going to be very many of those backup machines left on the haulers. People are going to have to be very careful with this, but there is, of course, opportunity left in this race. We'll be looking almost at the halfway point by the time we go back to green flag, so one more caution in this and people get to stay out.
Well, remember what I was saying about pitting and then worrying about cautions to make you there? Well, or make it to the end of the race? Well, we're having all those early, so that's hurting that strategy of pitting and then staying out, hoping that you'll make it through the wrecks, because that's certainly not happening for a lot of these guys.
No, it certainly is not, and that will be a major one for them, of course, making sure that this one does go the way it's intended. But, of course, we're having an awful lot of crashes right now compared to what we were expecting in this race, and that could really make this a mess.
Could make it a mess, but it could be benefiting people. Like, for example, Mark Jorgensen Jr., no damage from that accident. Meanwhile, at least 4 cars in front of him have major damage that is probably going to kill him aerodynamically, so I'm sure we'll see Jorgensen up there pretty shortly after we get the green flag.
Certainly will, and well, the green flag will be back out very soon, and well, we've had several big ones tonight, folks. If you're waiting, sorry you've missed one, you're probably going to get another one later on in this thing. But Alrod Flag has to feel very happy. He's not even been challenged other than being passed once. He stayed in the top 3 for this entire race so far.
Pretty much anyone that's challenged him has ended up wrecked, so I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing if you're going to go and pass Rod on this restart. Might be throwing nails or something, blowing these guys' tires at this point.
Is kind of, you know, what's the word I'm looking for here? Is this some sort of Mario Kart shenanigans?
Maybe he was in control of Jorgensen's car throwing a fit on pit road, who knows?
That could be very true.
I mean, he is the owner. He is the owner. He can do whatever he wants. If he wants to just sabotage people's cars in pit road before the race, he can.
I think he's got a magic button. He's going to kill us because he's commentating race number 2 tonight with me after this one gets done, so who knows what's going to happen.
Watch out, he might start sabotaging the broadcast or something at this rate.
Oh god, yeah, that could happen too. We'll have to get Cisco to just make sure he has a word with him first before he has any thoughts like that.
It'll certainly be interesting bringing him in here. As, let's see, I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cars that I can find right now have major damage. I mean, that if you're not locked in and you have major damage like that, you're pretty much hoping for more wrecks. Versus all the viewers, they don't want any wrecks. They want the racing that we're known for, double file all the way around the track, not wrecking, certainly not in a forward direction.
Well, that would be ideal, but whether we'll see it or not is entirely another case in this thing, but there's plenty of racing left to go in this, and we'll have to see how it unfolds. Not long after caution here, as we should get ourselves shuffled back up again. I believe This time by, we're going 2 wide to go, 1 to go. And Rod commented, and what did he say, Cisco? Okay, Rod Flag agrees with us that he's sabotaging the race. So there you go, folks. The league organisers making this one exciting for you tonight at home.
See, I got quotes and I got facts. That's why you always need me up here. I know what's going on.
Exactly, yeah, we got the 411.
Uh-huh. So let's see, is Alexander gonna get wrecked this time by Rod's magic fingers or what?
Oh, can we pick cars to get wrecked? Is that how this works? Kind of give Rod more broadcast minutes and he lets us pick cars?
Well, he likes this. He's leading every lap.
I want the 1 to go around, Rod, if you're listening. The 1. I'm just picking it at random. We'll see if it happens. If it does, X-Files music. Either way, let's get going with this one. We'll get back from our little silly moment here under caution. And getting ready to go green. And apparently LSRTV 2018, Cisco says, we're weaponizing the commentator's curse. Yes, we are. And we have our fingers on the big red button. And our big red button is more impressive than theirs. So, there you go.
Well, I'm very interested to see how this... Oh. See, I keep cutting you off. I don't mean to do that. I gotta learn how you go, you know? Yeah, I just know how to interrupt people. Well, anyway, I'm very curious to see how Gary Champion in the 18 is going to do a couple laps into this, because he has some slight front end damage, and then he has some pretty heavy rear end damage, just enough to keep the rear deck lid on, but pretty heavy. This time by, pace car is going to take that long drive, and the green flag is going to come out. Alexander goes way high up the track trying to get a run on him as they come down the short chute, entering 1. Corey Henry not on Alexander, and Paul not on Rod, so it's pretty much just the lead cars right now. Corey's slowly going to try and get to Alexander this time as they make contact. Chris Bassini's going to lose the momentum as they head down the back straightaway.
They do indeed, and well, we're now down from 8 cars that won't make it into 5, so we get a couple more cars out of this thing, and everyone can run around at half speed and know they're going to make this one in, because only 14 cars lock in, and if there's 14 left, everyone's good, so they can stop wrecking if they want to. But either way, up in front, Alexander Russell mounting a charge on the outside here with the number 12, I believe, of Corey Henry, who's worked his way forwards in this. From the 12th spot, Paul Simpson Payne there in the 20. He started 17th. Look at him up at the front here as the 12 gets behind the number 91 of Russell, pushing him hard here into turn 1 and 2. 3 wide there. Bassini in the middle with the 42 of Bartlett. 3 wide, 2 deep we were just then at Daytona here. That makes things a little bit more interesting. Almost fulfilled my prophecy, but here we go. Big run by Bassini and co. As it's 3 wide, a little bit behind them. The 12 of Henry comes through the middle. 18-21 on the low side, 91 on the high, going backwards in a hurry. Jorgensen Jr. coming with him. Tempo stepped up suddenly.
Right, this might be the one time that Chris might be able to get around Rod. As I said, Gary Champion just struggling to get right behind the 20 car right now. With that said, I mean, the outside line, well, now they have 3 cars. The 12's there, Jorgensen's there as well. Like I said, Jorgensen's going to be back. We knew that. He's Jorgensen. He's the Markster. He knows what to do. He knows these types of races. And as I'm saying that right now, Chris Bassini trying to get around Rod as they're in the corner right now. Can he clear him when they get to the straightaway? He is clear of him right now, but he's going to stay with Victor. He's probably going to clear them both, then jump down. Ooh, nope, not yet. They'll probably come down in the corner right now as Corey's going to try and follow him and clear him as well, as he has Jorgensen right behind him, as Rod's going to drop from 1st to probably 3rd this time by down the start-finish line, or close to it.
He does, but he's going to hold himself in position here as he does drop in fact in line, leaving the 12 up high on his own. He's going to drop back into the gap behind the 88, I'm going to guess, as he does exactly that. Now our top 5, single file, 21 up high, Hedrick. Got to drop him behind the 20, he's got nowhere else to go. Now your top 7 cars, single file, top 8 cars with the 18 back of the group. The 02 and the 22 from behind also pushing away forwards here. And well, the race is looking like it has a quieter streak ahead of it.
Maybe they're done wrecking, who knows? Probably not.
I seriously doubt that.
As I say that, 22 sideways, the Champion involved, they're wrecking behind a major incident in turns 3 and 4. 3 cars involved from what I can see right now.
It is indeed. We'll get that replay up for you here as the 22, Joey Piccolella. I'm trying to work out what happened with him, but it looks like he tried to pull down behind the 02. Wasn't clear at the 18 and wraps himself around the nose. Up the track he goes. In fact, it wasn't even him that caused the wreck. It was behind the Ford checking up, got hit by the 49, goes sideways, and the quarterback is toast yet again. There you go. This is how these things work out, I guess.
Late braking takes another victim. That's just one of those situations where you need to be looking in front of you. You can't just be full throttle, especially if you see a line take a drastic dive to the bottom like the outside line did there. You got to be aware of that stuff. You can't just be running in the back of people, but that's what happens in racing, and not just Superspeedway, pretty much in any form of racing, whether it be short track, dirt, or anything.
It certainly is, and that's exactly what has happened for us here, but it's one of those things that will happen here in racing in this context. Hopefully, though, this one could improve a little bit more, but right now these guys are back under caution for what I believe to be about the 4th time so far this evening.
I believe you're right on that, and I also believe that we are at the fuel window, so I would expect to see almost everyone come down pit road this time, especially if they believe the cautions will continue at this rate. And as I say that, we have the entire line of cars go down pit road.
We do indeed. The entire field now will be coming down pit road for their final stop in tonight's motor race. And well, that will certainly open things up for us.
Looks like the guys farther in the back are just taking fuel, trying to gain spots right now, as I do see a couple individuals taking 2 tires right now. I believe Glenn took 2 tires, and he's going to beat a couple guys out that are just getting in their pit stall.
He has, and hopefully this one will go back into racing conditions very soon, but at this point in time, yeah, under caution for the 4th time. Stops could be the final ones. In fact, on the numbers, yeah, they can make it from here, so I suspect everyone stays out from this point onwards, no matter what cautions we get. Take your tires, take your fuel here. It's the last stop you need.
With that said, I think the only problem you would have with that is if you're the leader and it goes green the entire way, then you might be on the edge of running out of fuel, but I don't see that happening.
Not with the laps of caution we're going to have here. There'll be 3 or 4 more laps of caution. This puts you under 20. No one's not made 20 laps before.
You'd be surprised. I've seen a lot in the series. Some guys forget to take fuel and other shenanigans like that.
Could happen. That could reasonably happen with how these things tend to go.
Either way, let's see who's in the front right now. That is the 88 of Mark Jorgensen Jr. After spinning out on the first pit stall, he gains all the positions back here, and he will be leading the field right now under caution. And I believe he'll probably start in the inside lane and lead the field under green.
It certainly will be, and we're looking forward to seeing this one now open itself up and give us a very exciting race towards the end of this one. They don't have to come down pit road yet again, and we're going to see who qualifies in at this point, because based on this, Robbie Lyon's also out. He's on pit road repairing heavy damage to that car. Daniel Holloway is still out on track, so we now have, I believe, 18 cars left. So 4 cars here who won't make it in, other than the ones already looking like they're out of the race.
You know, at this point, you're going to be racing with whatever type of car you have, hoping for cautions or not. Like Jorgensen, it doesn't matter to him. He could race with cautions or without them. If you're dead last, or if you're in the back, like say, let's see, I'm just trying to go down the field. Like say if you're Raymond Evans and you get damage on your front end, you pretty much need cautions to take other guys out, because I don't believe Raymond has the speed or has the aerodynamic capabilities of his car right now to get back up into a qualifying position. So it all just depends on those variables.
So there's a little bit of this roboty there, right? So this is going to be a very interesting race towards the end now. 4 cars are going to make it. Who is desperate towards the field?
You know, at this point, 4 cars is nothing like what we're with the full fill. I mean, at this point, you at least know, well, it's going to be 4 guys.
And having some of the races right now, which won't be this whole production boost with Cisco, because a little bit unreadable right now. We do apologize, guys. That's I don't understand the commentator when you can't. Hopefully we're back live and without any further troubles, as even I got booted there. So turns out it was actually our TeamSpeak server who was having a, shall we say, senior moment there. So we should be back. Good folks, we do apologise for that little bit of a hiccup. That doesn't happen very often here on LSRTV, but it'll be Jorgensen Jr. Rod Flag, your front row for this restart here on what I believe will be lap 31 on the outside. Plenty of time left to go in this thing. 20 laps left to run, and it's looking to be a very good race at this point. Robbie Lyons leaving pit road finally, but that car is horribly damaged. I don't think he has a backup, so he might be stuck in a position here, Brandon, where he's just trying to hope other people fall off the track.
Yeah, just like I was saying whenever we were having those technical difficulties, just if you're in the back with damage, you're pretty much praying for more wrecks right now. But right now you have pretty much the strongest guys with the best cars that aren't destroyed right now. I mean, you got Jorgensen, you got Rod, you got Glenn, you got Corey, you got JR, your top 5 right now. None of those guys have damage. They're going to pull away from the entire field, especially with the other guys having damage behind them. So you're pretty much fighting for like the 8th, 9th position right now.
You are indeed, and well, we're going to have to see if they can hopefully fight their way back up to these positions. 4 cars behind them. It may end up with damage. Those 4 behind are ones with some sort of damage, of course, but still plenty of racing left to happen and how this one may unfold. So they're going to have to keep an eye on this.
I still blame Rod for all our problems because he's wrecking everyone in the field and he wants to stop our broadcast as well. So
I think that's exactly true.
I'm blaming Rod.
Yeah, we're just going to blame Rod Flag for absolutely everything that happens tonight as the pace car will pull off. Fuel will come out of Jorgensen Jr. and the green flag will fly. It's a nice clean restart this time by the inside line, though, not holding itself together very well. Outside line much more structured as they'll pull away with no real drama. He drops down, Flag looking like he tried to side drift a little bit there, but before Bartlett will drop and leaving 2 of them on the high side.
You know, I'm not sure if that was cars having damage or just someone wasn't ready for that start, because it was a very early green flag compared to what the other ones have been. But right now, Jorgensen's just trying to bring the inside lane up the middle, trying to slow down Glenn so he doesn't pass him. But Rod wants to push him by so he can get by. That's pretty much the mentality in this type of racing. Although Jorgensen has the advantage, he's on the inside. It takes a lot to push that outside line around, especially with this new setup that we're using. You need at least 3 cars on the outside lane to really do anything. And as I say that right now, Glenn is passing Mark, so I blame Rod for that because he's pushing him.
It would explain absolutely everything. So, of course, we'll continue with this one here on to lap 33 here. Hendrick up there with Jorgensen Jr. Outside line moving forwards very nicely. And up it comes. Impressive racing at this point as Jorgensen starts to block Hendrick there on the high side. Typical Jorgensen racing here. He wants to control this race from the front. And he's doing it, but he's getting a big shove there by the O2 of JR Hager. That's pretty aggressive from Hager. Shoving the leader there really, really hard. But Hendrick's now on his own. Flag drops down in line. Hager comes up. Hager wants to take the lead here.
Well, you know, the best way to guarantee your spot into the 500 is to win the duel, and that's what JR is trying to do right now, making those aggressive moves. Like I said, at this point, you have to be aggressive, otherwise you're going to get passed, and especially with him being on the outside lane, he has to try and make something happen. But this is what Mark wants to see, just one lane that he has to block. I'm pretty sure Victor isn't going to pop out. He has to qualify his way in as well. So Jorgensen is in charge right now. It's Mark Jorgensen Jr. pulling a Dale Jr., just doing what all the juniors do apparently, and that's control the lane and control the momentum of the race.
Integral to the momentum, of course, and how this one does push forwards, and it's nicely done really by Jorgensen Jr. He's kind of the master here of controlling these lines as he does exactly that. 0221 in the 1, dropping back on the outside, and we'll see whether they can make anything happen in the next couple of laps here, but momentum does seem to be on the side of the low line.
And then see, it goes back to JR. He took that risk going to the outside lane, and now everyone is pretty much taking the gap below him and dropping him to the high side, and he's just sinking like a rock in water right now. As Jorgensen, as I said before, just controlling the lane. Everyone knows that they're qualified in. They're gonna start where they are right now, especially if they stay single file. As JR loses even more positions, he's gonna go from 5th to probably 10th this lap. Not his fault, just that no one went with him on the high side. It made a risky move to try to get the lead and just followed him.
Looks like we may have issues again shortly, folks, so we're just going to be advance warning you of that one, but Jorgensen Bartlett in front, Flag, and Henry, Champion Henry, Russell, Mazzini, Levine, and Simpson with the lap top 10 as they run, with about 14 laps left from the clock as they pass the stripe on this lap. 14 laps, 14 drivers will make it in. Team B, right at the top is Joey Piccola, and the 22 car is leading a second pack here. So he's got a lot of hungry cars behind him who want to pass him. He's the one in front that can really help him.
Pretty much, I mean, going back to the start of the 2, he wants to try and get up into the front, and he needs that impact to catch him just so he can use the momentum to bring the field by him. Like I said earlier, one single fall except Glenn Hendricks, the guy who's been on the high side pretty much the whole time. Chris Messina, a great pusher in the series.
It certainly is, and it is one of those nights tonight, I think, folks. It's not that I'm not glitching, it's that the team speed server itself is choking on its own bandwidth, though. Right now, Bingo's have eaten our packets, which is an Australian joke, but we'll move further forward. That's yeah, we need to do something about this, and we will try and get some done, folks. We do apologize, but it's a little difficult to handle mid-race.
Blame Rod.
Well, hopefully we'll be back right now, because this should have solved problems. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back in a couple of minutes. We'll go through a quick commercial break and we'll join you after the break. Well, folks, we're now back, and we should be crystal clear, like a fine glass thing that's crystal and clear. Either way, we're back, and we sound like ourselves again. So we've solved a little issue. It turns out Team Speed was choking, so we performed the internet Heimlich maneuver, which is way more complicated than it sounds, Brandon.
Yeah, I didn't know what was going on. I just got dragged left and right. And I see my hashtag I blame Rod is taken off in the comments right now. But as we were quiet, Victor Bartlett and Glenn Hendrick trying to get that outside line working, and they made progress over the course that we weren't talking. They've slowly been cutting the inside line down. I'm not really sure how they're doing it. I mean, it's 2 cars versus 5 right now, but somehow they keep doing it.
Yeah, they do indeed, and the 2 cars are holding on surprisingly well at this point, as they do actually manage to keep themselves in this top 5 position here. Movement behind them as 0-2 once again making an aggressive move, looking to go forwards here. And I believe Piccolella is still leading that second group there in 14th, at least 13th place now, so it's him and Hook are further up this running order. Robbie Lyons is just getting past out on the high side with a very slow car, trying to do his best to stay out of danger. Everyone makes it through without any major drama. Lap 41, 9 laps to go here, and we'll run this one down as once again, oh, big move by Jorgensen Jr. to try and block Bartlett goes round him, 3 wide for the lead.
That's something Victor wanted, but what he didn't want is no one to be on his outside, as Chris is going to duck down to the middle, as Jorgensen's going to leave the middle lane. Jorgensen's leading the middle lane, Rod's on the bottom, and Victor's just going to fall like another rock in water. Just made a move at the wrong time, no one went with him, and he paid the price for that. He lost all the positions that he gained.
Oh, he absolutely lost every little bit of what he gained there. And that will seriously hamper his race, but he holds on just about and filters through, and we'll see how this one will play out. Things go right for Jorgensen Jr. at this point in time, as it's going to be 8 laps remaining once they cross the line here. 8 laps left in the book for this one, and we're going to caution that'll be down to 3, so We're rapidly approaching the point of caution ends this thing.
And something interesting happened right there in the back straightaway. I'm not sure if Corey let off the gas, if he didn't want to bump Rod or something, but the inside line separated and Mark and Glenn were able to clear him, which is something I didn't expect they were going to do for quite a few laps. So I expect Glenn to just keep riding behind Mark. I mean, he's guaranteed to start in the second row of the 500 next week right now. And Alexander seems like he's going to let Chris in if he wants it. I'm not sure Chris is going to take that offer right now, as he kind of checked up the inside lane to do that. But the leaders have separated by a good 4 car lengths right now, and that is huge, whether it be the front guys with punching a hole in the draft, or the second pack using the draft to get a huge run, probably down the back straightaway next lap with the space that they have open right now.
Absolutely, and right now they are doing their very best to hold on to this one and keep it moving, because they want to make sure this goes without a hitch here and we get a nice clean run to the end of this race. As it stands, it's looking good. 3 cars will not compete. Tiller, Patton, Manger are well and truly out. Robbie Lyons a lap down. Matthew Almany, Lucas Cram, Corey Smith, Ramon Evans will not qualify in the way this is going. So Greg Hooks and Joey Piccolella are the only 2 that are locked in at the very back in that group, and well, there's 4 cars lined up behind them who all want to get past here, and if I was them, I'd all 4 of us pull out here and make a move around those 2, as a caution will fly. Oh, this changes everything. What happened? Oh, there's a crash at the front of your back of your lead pack there. Involved a number 26, Daniel Holloway, and this might have changed the entire layup of tonight, as no, it wasn't Holloway, it was the 91, moves up into Passini. Oh, big problems there with Chris Passini. 91 moves up, turns him around in front of your field, contact the 25, and big problems.
As I'm hearing the in-car communications, Alexander apologizing for that, Chris not taking any of it. I mean, that's... Last time I called it a racing deal, you got mad at me, but I'm going to call that another racing deal, because Alexander's a rookie. He's not used to the flow of these types of races and how everyone races and how much we squeeze the inside lane. If you've watched any of our broadcasts, the space that we give the inside lane is tiny at best. And if you're not used to that, you're going to make that mistake where you come up into the outside lane.
It really is, and well, they're going to have to be very, very cautious with the last remaining laps they have. I think they might have 1 lap possibly at the end of this, or we could enter the caution. I'm not entirely sure how this will play.
It's probably going to play with maybe a green-white checkered. We're going to go back green, I know that for sure. But it could be a 2-lap, a 1-lap. I just got to see where they cut the pace car and where they get 2 to go, or 1 to go.
Yeah, that would be integral. We don't quite know yet whether this will end in the caution or not. That could be a huge thing for how this race does play out.
I don't think it's going to end under caution. I would bet in that direction. But it's tough.
Very
yeah.
Possible that this would actually happen. So we'll have to see whether this one does run green again, or we are in a dangerous position where we don't get a caution again, or don't get a lap at the end.
Either way, that's either going to benefit some guys and it's going to hurt some guys, that just depending where you are and where the guys locked in are in the field.
Certainly will do, of course. We'll wait for this one to tell us, of course. You'll know as soon as we do, but the race has been a little bit problematic so far. A number of drivers now out of position, including Passini, Holloway as well. Those guys now in major trouble. Everybody else looks like they're going to make it through here. 14th place is now Corey Smith. Evans and Smith took advantage of that damage. Even if we get 1 lap, it looks like they're all in. And it'll be Almany Cram out of this one, whilst Holloway, the last 2 drivers are running, that will be out of this. There's only 16 cars are left.
And you know what really hurt a lot of guys from these wrecks is some of the guys that were locked into the race got taken out, like Harry and Chris. They're locked into their race, and they got taken out, so it shortened or it lowered the position that you need to get in, like of where you finish.
It really did, and that's going to be a major disruption for how this one does go. But like we said, we aren't sure how this will play out yet. There's still plenty of time. We could have one more lap, but that could change everything, especially at the rear.
And we gotta have one more lap, at least one lap. I don't see us ending this race under yellow.
Stranger things have happened.
I've seen a 7-lap caution, so we'll see what happens. Yeah, like you were saying.
Yeah, we certainly will see what happens as this one does play through, but we'll tell you as it happens. And at the moment, we're pacing here at Daytona. Apparently, we might see a 2-lap restart. I'm not entirely certain if that's going to be the case, but with no one pitting, actually, that would make it a 2-lap restart, maybe. So we'll see how this one does run at the end here, but this race has certainly been unconventional by many stretches.
Well, if you want to talk about unconventional, just look at who's leading this right now. Jorgensen Jr., the guy who spun out on pit road due to a suspension failure, is leading the race now. So I think unconventional just sums up this whole race and how all the wrecks have happened.
It really does, and it's definitely got him in a position where he's now feeling more like he's an advantage than he ever has been. So, well, big props there to Jorgensen Jr. for being now in a spot where he can take advantage from this and actually have a good race, because he's deserved one for a while.
Yeah, I didn't catch the race last week, but I heard he got in the short end of the stick at some point, and he wasn't able to finish the race. So I'm sure that's not how he wanted to start 2018. So if he,
multiple stakes.
So if he wins this duel, at least he's gonna get rid of that and start 2018 with a win.
Yeah, he certainly took the short end of multiple sticks in this one, as he's now in a position to hopefully have a win, which would be a huge relief for him. But, well, that all depends entirely on how this one goes over the next few laps, what actually happens here at the end, because it could be multiple scenarios we see here. We could get a multiple number of lap restart, and how that actually ends up going is going to be huge for us.
Well, it looks like we're going to have a green-white checkered, so it gives them 2 laps to gain any positions that they might need in the rear, or lose any positions if you have damage and you're locked in right now.
Yeah, that would be a huge thing for them, of course, and whether we see damage or not is entirely relevant to this. But, well, it depends. This one's looking like it's set to be going green this time by, so yeah, we're going to see 2 laps here, and this will give us everything we need to see.
And you know, usually whenever you're up in a booth and you're in a second duel, I can usually learn things of like situations or strategies that I'm going to use. I have no idea what I'm going to use in the next duel from this race, because pretty much any strategy that anyone had entering this duel didn't work. So I'm in that situation.
Well, it's all out the window at that point, of course. You have a strategy, but, well, it's kind of gone by now.
There's pretty much 2 strategies right now. Rod's going to push Mark, and Corey's going to push Glenn. So I think those are the 2 strategies that we can pretty much agree on. After that, it's anyone's guess what's going to happen when they take the green here.
Certainly is, and well, we're going to go back now to the restart here. Pace car will pull in for what will be the final time, regardless of what happens. We'll either end up the green or yellow, but we will end in 2 laps' time as the green flag will fly. What colour is the next flag they see? It's a good restart there by the inside. Jorgensen Jr. making a good run here with flag stayed there up on second in the inside lane. He's had a fantastic race tonight, as Hedrick and Henry on the outside will make their way forwards. The outside starts to stall a little bit.
It looked like Glenn was, it looked like Corey was going to try and get down there into the spot that was there, but Alexander filled that. Now the outside lane is at a disadvantage as they have Rod and Mark pushing bumper to bumper right now. Man, they cannot catch Glenn. They need to get Glenn before they take the white flag right here. Otherwise, I don't think they have a chance of beating Mark.
No, I don't think they do at all with the way this one's shaking out, of course. They're in a very disadvantaged spot when it comes to making it work, but look at this. Defending again. Jorgensen Jr. doing a fantastic job holding this one in one piece, controlling the front end as he goes 3 wide behind him. That could be undoing for some of them as they're all struggling now for starting spots. 42 gets through, a bit of contact there. The 02 goes wiggly up into the outside wall. Final lap though, there'll be no caution here no matter what happens. White flag's already flown. They're wrecking, and this changes everything.
That's going to take 3 cars out that needed those positions to qualify in. It's going to help a couple guys that have damage. But right now, in turn 4, it's all Jorgensen Jr. and Rod, the guy who has the pole position and the guy who's starting behind him. But pretty much Rod can't contest at this point. We're going to come to the checkered flag, and Jorgensen's going to win the first duel of tonight as Glenn Hendrick's going to finish 4th, Corey in 3rd, and Rod's going to take 2nd place.
He certainly is. What an interesting result there we saw at the very end of this thing that's completely thrown it on his head, as almost expected with the shenanigans we've seen. Of course, we're going to get our final results once we get across the line. Will be very interesting to see if this one does run down. Looking at our running orders, we'll go through the final results for the end of duel number 1. Mark Jorgensen Jr. takes the win. Flag and Henry in 2nd and 3rd. Glenn Hedrick, Greg Hooks, Justin Devine, Victor Bartlett, Joey Picadella, 8th in the end. Corey Smith and Alexander Russell, 9th and 10th. Ramon Evans, Gary Champion, Michael Albany, Robbie Lyons. With all that damage, Robbie Lyons will come through with a wrecked race car and qualifying in 14th place, the last spot available. Drivers that did not qualify in this race: Lucas Cram, Paul Simpson-Payne, J.R. Hager, Chris Bassini, Daniel Holloway, Harry Tiller, Chris Patton, and Kyle Manger.
Well, as we said halfway through the race, unconventional was the name of it, and it certainly ended that way, with some guys literally limping across the finish line with torn-up race cars that qualify their way into the 500 next week.
Oh, they absolutely do. And, well, it's going to be an interesting second duel, I think, based on how well that one went. As, well, good luck in the second duel, of course, Brandon. You're in that one, so we'll see you there. And we are going to go to a commercial break, and we'll be back with duel number 2.
Hi guys, Scott Speed here, welcoming you to the Volkswagen Beetle GRC car here in iRacing. It is so fun. Wanted to give you guys some pointers around the track here. This is the actual track that we drove in Daytona. It looks unbelievable. When you see the footage from the onboard of the actual track, it's crazy how similar they got it. Give you some tips on the car. First thing you're gonna notice is this thing is a 2-liter turbo engine that has over 600 horsepower. And it is geared for acceleration. So you're gonna go through the gearbox very quickly. That's the first thing you know. As soon as you leave the pits, you're gonna be like, wow. You're just gonna have to upshift gears very rapidly. And then you're gonna get on the brakes for the first time, and you're gonna notice this big momentum shift. The car is gonna lean over, it's gonna have a ton of weight transfer, and that's because we run really soft springs in this thing to get the traction that you're gonna need in the dirt. Once you get through the first corner, you're probably going to realize that as soon as you touch the throttle, it doesn't really want to turn anymore. You got to be aware that 4-wheel drive likes to stop very quickly and it likes to go very quickly. It doesn't like to corner so much. To the first corner, you definitely want to wait until you're kind of straight to get on the gas, and that'll bring you up to the really fun section. And you get to experience dirt in a 4-wheel drive rally car for the first time, and it's incredible. The thing you're going to notice is that the car wants to just continue going in whatever direction it started in. So when you approach these corners, you're really going to have to turn quite before the corner, very early, and the car is going to develop this momentum to it. It's still very important to hit the apex and to be very tidy and clean, but you're going to have to do that with the momentum of the car. And then you got this nice jump that is really fun. One thing to keep in mind when you're in the air is if you hit the brakes, the front end will come down. If you hit the gas, the front end will come up a little bit. So you got to control, kind of like an airplane, the pitch of the car in the air so you're kind of flying straight. And as soon as you land here, you're going to want to start heading left. You're going to give it a big input and start it sliding to the left. And you're just going to be constantly trying to slow this thing down to make this corner, because it's very, very slippery and it's a very tight corner. And the preferred line, believe it or not, is still going to be right here at the apex. Once you get out of here, the next couple corners are relatively simple, typical tarmac corners. Not a lot to these stuff. This is all flat out. And yeah, let's see what a full lap looks like.
iRacing, you wanted the best, you got them 4 abreast. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt, the World of Outlaws.
Welcome back again to duel number 2 here on LSRTV in a Super Speedway Cup Series. Rich Wyford back, and this time with Rod Flag, the tormentor-in-chief from duel number 1, the man who was sabotaging everything. Rod, that was a very busy race, but you managed to have a very quiet one.
Yeah, it finished second. That's not bad. 9 points. I knew we were going to be able to get around Mark for sure. You know, I think it was Corey behind me, and I knew Corey had a beat up car, and so I knew he probably didn't feel like he was going to be able to push me further, and I kind of was looking behind in my mirror to see if he was going to make any motions high to push me around, but traditionally Corey really wouldn't work with me, so I knew that if I could take second place, that'd be a good finish for the night. So but yeah, excited for duel number 2. Duel 1 had a lot of action. You know, a lot of wreck race cars, unfortunately, but you know, certainly you know, Mark ran a great race and ended up winning duel number 1. It'll be interesting to see who wins duel number 2.
Certainly will be. We'll get those cars out on the grid very shortly to see exactly what our running order will be for tonight's second race. Should be a very simple, easy one, of course. Well, that's more than perhaps as you suggest there. Yeah, this could be interesting.
To tell you the feeling was that at least in the Facebook conversation has been people kind of thought duel number 1 was loaded with a lot of big drivers. Duel number 2 maybe did have the inexperienced drivers, and I think we saw in duel number 1 a lot of wrecks, a lot of things happen. So I think at least in the NASCAR world, usually in the duels or the twin 125s, one of them tends to be the wreck fest and the other one tends to be the really clean one. So maybe we'll get some green flag pit stops in duel 2.
Don't tease me like that, Rod. That's almost suggesting we might have a clean race here.
Don't get your hopes up.
Not getting my hopes up at all. So we'll see those drivers in position very shortly for this second race. And we'll give you that starting order once they are on the grid. Of course, a lot of time tonight, 50 laps. It could be a quick one, like Rod's suggesting. He's teasing us horribly here with how this could possibly go. So we'll cross our fingers and hope that perhaps we might even see a green flag pit stop in this.
Yeah, and green flag pit stops would be really important in this situation. And I think we found in the shootout that the cars are not falling off on tires as much as we thought. So a lot of time, you know, at least what I saw in duel number 1 was people were taking no tires, and that's the quickest way to get off pit road is efficiently as possible is no tires. And there's also some guys and some right side tire changers that seem to be having some trouble with some lug nuts for whatever reason in a lot of these cars, and I don't know what it is about the right side tires, but it seems to be delaying the pit stops a little bit there, so people are a little bit hesitant to take right side tires right now based on some of those right side tire changers for whatever reason.
Seems like Mark's team certainly had some issues getting to his left side tires when they were buried underneath the car.
Yeah, it was. I had a mirror full of what happened there on that first pit stop. I had seen that the one unfortunately got had some contact with the 88, and it was to my benefit, luckily. But I'm not sure what happened there. But I'm sure Chris and Mark would like to have that one back.
Yeah, I'm sure they would. That was a unique incident for certain. Of course, as we move into this second part of this race, we're going to have a fairly interesting race here with duel number 2. Number of drivers in here are quite different to what we normally see. Seems like we had the majority of our, should we say, regular front runners in the last one. this one seems to be a bit more mixed.
And I think we're about to get started here, Rachel. I think I just saw that the session was advanced, so I think we're going to grid the field here pretty soon.
Looks like we are indeed about to grid that field, and well, we're going to go through your starting grid now for this duel number 2. On the pole, man on the front row, Rodney Warford. Right now second in second place with Cozy Jr. in third, Spencer Preet in fourth, Scott Warren and Rick Wall, Frank Basili the third, Joshua Schwartz, Jared Schwartz, wow, twice the Schwartz in this race, and Joseph Gorringe in 10th.
And you're way better at this than I am, so I am like going back into the field here trying to look down, but it looks like if I can get to Joshua Jared Schwartz, it looks like you're going to have to help me out here, Rachel.
Dan Harrington in 11th place with Travis Brown, Jake Champion, Richard Reagan Jr., Garrison Hogan as well, Mike Schultz, and Joseph Junkins in 17th place, PJ O'Leary in 18th place, Joshua Dorsha in 19th with Raymond Lees. Brandon Kuzmonsevich, who was with you for duel number 1 here in the booth, Kevin Spencer, TJ Buck, TJ Cray, and Austin Koo. But I have to ask you, what is it with all these multiples we've got in this race? This is quite an interesting one. A bunch of TJs, a bunch of Schwartzes. This like the family event?
Yeah, you're not wrong. I don't know if Joshua and Jared Schwartz are brothers or
you gotta be. It's too easy at all.
You think so? You think so? But you know, I know they're definitely related.
There we go. That narrows that part down. At least we know they are actually somehow related to each other. That's a great start.
But yeah, I mean, so far, at least what I've seen is, you know, I think they're probably pretty lucky. It's probably an advantage that they're going to be able to work together and maybe find some luck in this race. I mean, I don't know if we didn't necessarily saw NASCAR as far as, you know, Bobby Labonte and Terry Labonte working together too much, but, you know, at least in a Superspeedway race, you can definitely help each other out.
So they can, and we'll look forward to seeing how that does play out in this, but it's going to be pretty exciting, I think, to see this one develop as the race will go on. We've got a bunch of different drivers here, which will make things very interesting. Watford have written out the second leading off in this one. 2 very familiar names. And Watford running out 3 this season. That could be beneficial to him. It could be, I don't know, it's a big change for him from the number 7 to the 3.
Well, I think that 3 is giving him some inspiration. I mean, he wins that championship in that 7. He's run that 7 for 15 seasons, and you know, I think he's out here trying to prove himself to say, you know, I want to be the dominator, I want to be the intimidator, I want to be that guy. So, get ready to start the race here, and we'll give it to you here for the green flag, Rachel.
Certainly will, and looking forward to seeing how this one goes. And Rodney Warford will lead us off to the green flag here in the number 3 Good Wrench Plus machine. Here we go. Outside lane stalls immediately, not like Jorgensen Jr.'s start where he took off flying. Outside just drops back a little bit here. Cozy Jr. as well. Rod, he was new, I believe, fairly recently, but well, not too new I should say, but he's a driver that's been in the mid-pack for the majority of his time in Superspeedway Cup Series. This season just gone, 15, was his breakout season. Some amazing performances from him. What are your expectations for the 500?
Well, I think there's a lot of guys that fit that mold. We saw a lot of different drivers get into the chase last season or the playoffs. Sorry, gotta put $1 in the jar now. But you know, a guy like Michael Cozy is, you know, he's the guy. He's got a lot of social media attention, and you know, he's capable of winning anytime he goes out there. But he's also a guy that, you know, I race with him a lot. He races with me in the truck series. He's somebody I can trust. He's somebody that's holds a steady wheel. So, you know, I think he's going to have a breakout season this year. I think his sophomore season, at least in the Cup Series, is going to be probably better. But, you know, right now, you know, he's doing exactly what I did in duel number 1. Hold that low line, support the leader, put yourself in an opportunity to potentially win the race. It's early. There's no reason to take any big risks.
Certainly not yet, and wow, we're going to have to see how that does play forwards. No need to take risks, and risks they will not be taken, but wow, I think these guys want to play this one slightly safer than the last duel. A lot of space being left between the two lanes for a start, and these guys not perhaps pushing the issue too early. It is, of course, lap number 3 of 50. There's a lot of time left to go, and, well, we'll see how that one tends to evolve, but as it stands, it's running nice and cleanly here. And I'm not expecting too many major dramatic things to go on this early on. As you said, maybe this is a quiet race, Rod, and we get a nice, simple one here, but, of course, we'll take a quick reminder here on how the grid order works for 500. Of course, first and second will grid based on their speeds in the single car qualifying. That includes you, the pole sitter.
Yeah, and that's the cool thing about the this format is, Roddy Wofford and myself.
Problems on the racetrack as we have a caution here. You were wrong. It's not going to be the quiet one on lap number 4, and this was a big, all the way across the racetrack, slam dunk by the car of written out as second, who just pit maneuvered the 43 of the Jarrett Schwartz, into the outside wall. The Schwartz was not with him as he causes a massive wreck here on lap number 4.
Yeah, Rachel, I think that might have been a bump gone wrong. Spencer Preet gets into the 87 rear, pushes him down into the 43 there, which is Jarrett Schwartz, and wow, and that just that exit of that tri-oval, and it does give you a little bit of push and momentum, and sometimes it makes it easier to get that bumper, and it's that right side of that bumper that he hit that seems to be the target that tends to spin cars more often than the left side.
Yeah, it really does, and wow, that's going to be. that was a pretty big move to be, not even mind a bump. That was a full-on pit maneuver, I think, at that point. But it was kind of helped, I think, by the bump he received. It's going to definitely open this one up now. We have another restart coming here soon in a few laps, and well, so far, duel number 2 is seeming to follow the same format. Are these guys just excited, Rod?
Well, yeah, all these guys had an opportunity to watch what happened in duel number 1, and I think they saw that that race was full of some excitement, and I don't necessarily think the front was very activity driven, but I think that the mid pack and the back of the pack did have some wrecks, and we just saw an earlier caution, and we saw an earlier caution in the first duel, so maybe we are dueling the duels right now.
Maybe we are, in fact, doing duels as we move forwards in this, and we'll see how it opens up. But it's yeah, it's gonna be interesting, I think, because this one goes forwards. Everyone led onto pit road by Wofford, but here's our first change of strategy. We didn't see this in duel number 1. Michael Cozy Jr. stays out.
Yeah, I don't think Michael Cozy has much to lose right now. I mean, we're few gallons of fuel lost, but we have Roddy Wofford come down and see what he does. Probably fuel only. I'm looking at him right now. It's fuel only. He's going to come out and he's going to be first off pit road. Looks like Scott Warren, Frank Bashilla, Spencer Preet, Ricky Wall, and then from there it's who knows what, but yeah, Michael Cozy Jr. wants to take that track position. And I'll tell you, Rachel, that track position was huge. When I felt like when I got that restart, with the exception of a couple times, being in that front position is huge because you really have the momentum. If you have somebody who's going to push you from behind, you're going to be able to get the advantage in a turn 1 and have the best shot of staying in the lead. So
we certainly do, and wow, we have a special guest with us joining us in the booth for a quick chat after duel number 1 and his win there. Mark Jorgensen Jr. Duel number 1. Looks like the 88 is back working for you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I ran that 78 Toyota, just a little one race, little spin off. Had a lot of feedback and got persuaded to come back to the... Yeah, no, well, I mean, I guess you could say something like that, but I guess a lot of fans that, watch the broadcast each and every Friday night, a couple of them, started hitting me up and saying that they're going to miss me in the 88, and I just had to get back with Rod and say, man, I've been driving this 88 car for a long time, and I'd hate for an idiot to get it, I guess. But I'll just go ahead and jump back in it.
That's one way of putting it.
Yeah, I'll just jump back in and see what I can.
Wish we could say up here at the booth that you and the 88 have become synonymous to us. You are that junior to us in this series. Don't let this go to your head. But we at LSRTV, we see you as the Dale Earnhardt Jr. of Superspeedway Cup Series. It's only fitting that you're driving the 88.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like I tell y'all all the time, I'm only as good as the guy behind me, pushing. And, Rod, he basically gave that win to me. I mean, he tried to make a move off of turn 4, but, I felt like that move was a little bit too late. But, huge shout out to him for letting me win in the Born On Date car. I thought that was pretty neat. So, good way to get the season going, and we'll see what happens next Friday night.
Well, Mark, I got to chime in here a little bit and give you a little bit of crap. Is only as good as the guy behind me. Again, you got 2 champions behind you there. I knew the champion behind me was gonna potentially probably ditch me and send me to 5th place. So, but nice win, Mark. Mark, it's always a pleasure racing with you, bud. I was a little surprised that you're going to maybe come over to TRD country there, and I thought we were going to have you signed, but apparently not. So, again, congrats on the dual win. Looks like we're going to be going back to green here pretty soon, though. Rachel?
Oh yeah, I'm looking to see what Michael can do right here. I don't, he's playing pretty big pit strategy. He's got to be banking on a caution here pretty soon, so he can come back to pit with all these guys.
It's looking likely. Well, thank you very much for joining us, Mark, and congratulations on Duel 1. I think that puts you in starting in 3rd place for the 500s. That's a great position to be in. Probably better than 2nd, as Rodney Wofford would probably agree. Anyway, thank you for joining us, Mark. We'll be going back to the race now, so hopefully you have a good time watching this 2nd duel.
All right, thanks, Rachel.
Pace car in, field in the hand of the 77 and the 3. Green flag back in the air here, and we're away. This time, much better start there with Wofford on the outside. It's contact there, big slap. 76 and 94. Warren and Basili III had a massive slap there.
That was major contact, and that's not what Frank Pachillo wanted to see with Scott Warren contacting the side of the cars, and that does impact your speed. That will impact your straightaway speed. That will impact people working with you, and luckily it did not look too major there. I don't see anything on the quarter panels of each of the vehicles, but looks like Scott Warren was able to get that advantage and push that 77 to Mike Coles Jr.
It does indeed, and wow, this one's going to be an exciting development on that front, because it's going to open things up a little bit. The field has dropped back a little on the outside there, and Wofford's looking for a hole which no longer exists. In fact, it's closing up very rapidly as we go forwards, and well, that's a bit of a difference. I'm quite interested to see how this one does play out. We are single filing out very quickly, other than those 3 cars. Of course, Wofford, Basili III, and Wall up there on the outside. Everybody else in this field is entirely single file. A couple of single car packs towards the rear, and as it's looking, Lee's written out a set. Cray. Oh, what do you see?
13 almost made contact with Rodney Wofford there. A little high going into the corner of turn number 3. Got Gatorade number 13 of Joseph Dawashaw. But worked for him. P4.
Certainly has worked for him there, as we'll keep going forwards. As I was going to say, Lee's written out a second. Cray and Hogan already in a pretty rough position here when it comes to actually qualifying in. As we get a caution, everyone's still on the lead lap though, apart from Lee's and written out a second. Cut-off point right now is occupied by Jarrett Schwartz. So as it stands, both Schwartz are still in the top 14. So we'll see how their race does progress. In fact, the 43 there with Jarrett Schwartz back of that lead pack as they separate to the 89 behind them. Joseph Gorange 3 in the 94, sliding ever backwards on the outside, looking for a gap here. There is nothing for them. They have nowhere else to go. Their only option really to hook and carry on forwards.
Yeah, it is a single file line right now, from at least Michael Cozy to Richard Reagan. It looks like they're just kind of taking it easy. I guess, that first caution kind of woke up the alarm. So, and that's not good for Rodney Wofford. Rodney is in that Goodrich Plus SS. It's fallen back, and it's not looking good so far, at least in his regard. Frank Pachillo, the same thing, fallen back. So, seeing some guys that maybe aren't up front regularly. Again, I know Mike Cozy's up there with us, but look at guys like Joseph Dawashaw and PJ O'Leary. I mean, Joshua Shorts.
Certainly is looking very, very interesting. As well, single file for the majority of the front end of our field. They want this one to stay green flag here, because guess who that hurts? The man leading the race, the 77 Akosi Jr., could be in a awful spot here, where he has to come down pit road and pit on his own in about 7 laps, Rod. He has to have something happen before then. Yeah,
it's you know, lap 20 is kind of that area of concern as far as you can get it about 20 laps in the Cup car, and so he took a risk. He thought, you know, this duel may be similar to the first duel, and maybe caution field, and may not have to worry about fuel. But if he has to come down by himself, that's going to be terrible. He's going to have to count on another caution to happen at some point, and if this thing goes caution-free, that's the end of his race.
Does indeed, and that could be dramatic for him. So we'll have to see, is anybody else going to come with him? Is he begging for friends right now? Can you convince a teammate to perhaps
Oh, he's got friends. Early? I will tell you, he's got teammates.
Yeah, he has friends.
A bargain. He's got the 01 Travis Brown. He's got the 37 Spencer Preet. Those are all people who are right now on his Yahoo channel or his YouTube channel, who are cheering him on. So I will tell you that again, Akosi, he's got a lot of friends out there. I was actually looking at the lineup before I even went on the track in the Duel 1. I said, wow, if anybody has any help, Akosi's got help with his teammates. So I think the only teammate that he didn't have on the track was Harry Taylor, who was in the first duel. So I would say Akosi sitting pretty.
So in that regard, we can almost say he's going to expect to have friends who might come down pit road early to keep him relevant in this race.
You got it.
Looks like the C7's gamble isn't quite so drastic as perhaps we first estimated here, as things get a little jiggly back in the pack as cars shifted around there. The 34 car, just Joshua Schwartz getting shuffled out, as Monsivice coming forwards here with these guys into 13th place right now, as does Jarrett Schwartz from 14th. We've got a big build on the outside going to be coming forwards here, led by the car there of Wofford. He's been holding his ground on the outside all race long so far, and looks like finally he wants to say, okay, let's make something happen here.
Yeah, Rodney's not happy right now running where he's at. I mean, he's borderline almost falling out of top 10. He's the defending champion. He does not want to run back there. He knows that's trouble. He knows that's the where the wrecks will happen. He knows that's a place that's just going to be trouble potentially for him to use a reset. But he's kind of making some momentum up. You know, he's got Richard Reagan there, and it looks like Joshua Schwartz is up there, and Spencer Preco's up there. So we're starting to see a top line start to move. We're maybe going to have a challenge for the lead.
Maybe he could, and this one's definitely becoming a bit more interesting here. Look at this push. Look at how this has evolved.
Richard Reagan.
Yeah, Preet up front here. That's interesting. Reagan Jr. as well up there too. Reagan Jr. has been impressive so far.
Yeah, he's doing a great job getting some momentum, pushing up there, and you know it takes a bunch up there to get some momentum, and no better person to have as a pusher. You know, Rodney Wofford, Frank Bashilla, Brandon Cruz Monsivice, who's up here earlier in the booth. They're all great. I mean, Brandon he was in the playoffs. Rodney in the playoffs. These are all really good guys. Spencer was in the playoffs. So now Travis Brown, like I told you, I think it's a strategy. I think it's 01, Travis Brown, Spencer Preet, 37. They are trying to get up there with Mike Akosi. They're going to try to control the lines. I will guarantee if they get up there and get 1-2, they're going to try to control these lines and try to keep themselves 1-2-3.
Yeah, they absolutely are. And well, this is now becoming more of a race here on lap 17. As we have cars pushing up the outside, and it's the teammate there of Akosi Jr., Travis Brown, the 01 on the outside. Now we've got teammates controlling the front row here, Rod. That definitely does broaden things. But it's more the fact we have 2 lanes racing now. The percentage chance of accidents suddenly increases, which Akosi Jr. must be loving.
I'd love to see that accelerated pedal gauge right now on the 77, because I suspect that there may be a little help going on there as far as trying to get the 01 and 37 up there, but there is no 100% rule in the series anymore. So you know, you can definitely do some strategy, and I can't, you know, again, Cozy's been doing a good job, but it does not surprise me to see the 01 and 37 up there. But again, let's give a little credit to Scott Warren, 76 car. He's been doing a great job just kind of running up there and second out of nowhere. I mean, we haven't really talked about him at all. You know, he's the guy who ran really competitive all season last season, didn't make the playoffs, but right now running P2 and having a really strong run.
He is indeed, and wow, the field has dropped back a little bit on the outside there, but it's still just about holding itself together. This one is running a little more smoothly than the first race for now. We've had one caution so far early. Things staying fairly fluid though for now. It's a big push there by, I think that was the 37 car of Preet, pushing the 01 forward. So that's 3 teammates, I believe, right there up towards the sharp end.
Yeah, Travis Brown making a challenge for the league, and this could maybe be controlling the lines, or it could really be, you know, Travis Brown really trying to get out there. In the duels, there is no bonus points for leading lap, so it's really more just the stage points that we talked about, the top 10 points, the 10 through 2-1 in the top 10. So you really don't have any special recognition or anything you can do just for leading laps. So it's all about how you finish. And but again, Travis Brown out there challenging for the lead. He's almost going to maybe get it on the backstretch there, but again, that top line has had challenges. What'll be really interesting is when we get into the daytime next week, Rachel, in the 500, will that make handling worse? And will that either make the bottom line worse, or will that make the top line better? So I'm really excited to see what happens. You know, I have not had an opportunity to race in the daytime in this setup yet, because we run in the daytime or in the nighttime in the shootout and the duels. So I'm kind of excited to see what happens.
That will certainly make things very interesting then, of course, as now we're onto a position where Cozy has to pit. But look at who's with him. His teammate is in front of him on the low side. That has to be organised. It's looking like we're going to see a fuel stop maybe this lap by those two from the sharp end, which will open things up, of course. This could be a very interesting change to how things operate. There's just been off sequence though, which could be a very good thing depending on what happens shortly. And with the race being a little bit busier at the front now, with 2 lanes running side by side, it certainly looks very likely there could be something fun for them. But Cozy stays out, so he's got maybe a lap or two after that caution gave him some laps. I think maybe he's got maybe 1 or 2 laps more, Rod, based on the caution laps.
It's going to be he's right now 21 laps. It's tight. It's tied, and it's you know.
Oh, 3 of them in the line. Oh, 3 of them in the line.
And after 3 in the line, I think you're exactly right. I think they're going to come in. It's fuel is running out, and you know it's not that too far apart. They're only 5 laps apart. So in a 50-lap race, makes no difference. It's a 2-stop race, so you know they're going to come in, they're going to make this happen. They still have to make 1 more pit stop there short. Maybe Rodo Effort's going to join them.
Maybe this was a split strategy from the start, as they stay out again. Interesting. 1 car comes in his own, but a split strategy almost decided by the team there of saying let's put 1 car and stay out. Let's put, you know, the rest of you just pit in, like, and see what happens. Maybe advantage, maybe not advantage, but either way, they're all going to come together second time round. They nullify the risk, but they give themselves opportunity to get track position, which they have done. And this is really exciting to see how this works.
Yeah, PJ O'Leary came down, so which, looking at how many laps he had, I'm just trying to look at his. That was early for him. He had only had 17 laps, so. Don't know what he was thinking, but I'm thinking maybe we're going to have, maybe are they going to come down this lap? I'm just anticipating, and wow, not yet.
That is bold in terms of decisions, that they're still not coming
77 could run out. I mean, this
77 must be on fumes. He must be literally shaking that car to get every drop of gas out of this thing, or that he's running a hybrid. I don't know. Maybe this is like the rollout of the first ever Prius.
I drive a Ford Fusion. I want the fuel mileage on his Fusion.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, he must be running the new hybrid Police Interceptor by Ford, actually, rather than the Fusion at the moment, because that thing is running way better mileage than we've seen anybody run ever. But it's got to be this time. Maybe he's been pushing it as far as he can before they make this decision, but it's got to be now as he does.
They're coming.
Oh, they're staying. They stay. Oh. The teammates leave him behind to come in on his own. Oh, he's got a friend. He has a friend. He has I believe that's the number 82.
He's got Dan Harrington, which is good. I'm shocked. Because this is a 2-lap race, and maybe. I mean, maybe these guys who stayed out, they're thinking this is a 1-lap race or one pit stop race. So maybe Cozy's going to be in the disadvantage. You know what? This early pit stop or early caution that we had, it's going to bite him in the butt now. And look at Dan Harrington beat him off pit road. So slow stop.
Yeah, this is unusual, honestly, from this, that these guys have decided to split this one up so differently, and I'm honestly a little shocked.
I am as well. It's when you think about and again, teammates are not a big deal in Super Speedway Cup right now. It used to be a huge deal. Right now, there's a few guys who are teammates, you know, and one of them is again Michael Cozy, Spencer Preet, Travis Brown, Harry Taylor. Other than that, it's kind of been a free for all for yourself. So you know, it's interesting.
Certainly is interesting, and I'm still surprised by that positioning in terms of how this one filtered through. But you know what? It is what it is. This is Super Speedway Racing, and well, Pack 2 being led by Austin Coop of LSRTV there, and they head down pit road. So a couple of those guys decided to pit about this time as well. Actually, no, we're actually on the numbers for that second rest of the field to come down pit road anyway. So we've gone past the 4 laps advantage they had. Well, that's going to definitely make things a bit more interesting.
That's scary, Rachel, because that puts you right up against the laps to go. It's possible, but it's
likely, but possible.
They're probably banking on, you know what? Probably banking on this thing isn't going to go green 100% the rest of the way, which is a pretty safe bet sometimes in this series. But back up front, it's Spencer Preet. And, you know, Spencer Preet won the truck race on Wednesday, and he showed a lot of adversity. Hate to say that, use that word, but he showed a lot of adversity as far as being up front at the right time, the right points. So pretty cool to see that happen. And how long can they go?
Certainly will be very interesting to see how this one does play forwards, but at the moment it's looking like we're looking at pit stop time here for the rest of our pack. This has been a lot greener than the last one. Of course, lap 28 here as more cars come down. Oh, one car on his own. That was the 18, I believe. Or am I even seeing the 18?
We got the 11 and 54. 11 and 54. Yeah, 11 so we got Ricky Wall, Brandon Cruz Monsivice. They're going to come take their fuel, and you know, it's I think they're probably pretty safe at this point. So yeah, I guess what we're seeing right now, Rachel, is maybe the fuel capacity is maybe a little bigger than we thought. You know, I think we were thinking maybe lap 20 was kind of the max we could do. Maybe in this, you know, nighttime condition, maybe in the draft conditions, it's going to be a little bit bigger and giving little people bigger respect. But here we go, leaders coming down pit road.
Here we go. This is it. Spencer Preet leads. Oh, that was a big incident there, nearly on pit road.
3 wide.
As they come in 3 wide, nearly 4 at one point, as we nearly have contact with a couple of them. Lots of tires chirping and squealing as everyone comes in for their service on lap 30. This is doable. This is one stop for these guys. That has changed the whole thing.
It is, and if you think about this, it's going to be, you know, Roddy is actually at a disadvantage right now. He has to accelerate from his first pit stop, so he does not get the momentum. If he was a leader, that's one of the biggest disadvantages on yellow flags. Your pit stall at the front, it's an advantage. Green flag, it's a disadvantage because you do not get momentum up. But all these guys, here they are, exiting pit road. Spencer Preet does a really good job of holding that lead. Travis Brown, his teammate, right behind. Look at Roddy Wofford below the yellow line, trying to get that momentum. He's going to take over second place, coming up the speed.
Interesting. It does indeed make things very difficult. And the 81 just had a bit of a Duke Boys moment, we believe, there, coming off pit road. As
you're going to have to educate me on what is a Duke Boy.
Well, he went drifting across the grass. I mean, that's... Oh, no, he jumped. He actually jumped his Ford Toyota Camry there. That's what Cisco said about Duke moment. I mean, I thought running across the grass isn't very Dukes-like, but no, he hit one of the access roads and he flew. That Toyota Camry caught air going across the grass there. So
welcome to Superspeedway Cup Global Rallycross.
Yeah, you're considering the Rallycross layout, I think, here at Daytona's bank track. That's not the Joker lap you meant to take, by the way. Just warning you, Joseph Youngkins. But look at this now, a big push here at the front as the 01 looked like he was going to try and make a move here as Wofford and the 37 stay out front of Preet. They're going to run in line this time by, and 45 here, moving up massively. The Schwartz is with him, I think, right now for it's the 43, even not the 45. I'm blind as a bat, it would appear.
Yeah, the lead is Spencer Preet and Rodney Wofford. So I think there's been green flag pit stop has very much separated this field, and you know, right now we have Spencer Preet in the lead. We got Rodney Wofford second. We have Travis Brown in the third position. Joshua Schwartz, as you said, is fourth. Really good run for him. Jared Schwartz. We got the Schwartz. There we go. Schwartz connection, Rachel.
There you go. Yeah.
4 and 5. So are we going to see some teamwork to try to maybe win a super duel here? Sixth place, Scott Warren. He's off the pack a little bit, so that could be not good for him. And then a big gap between sixth place and the second pack. So got a breakaway.
That'll certainly help things a lot as we get this breakaway here at the front, which green flag stops would have always enabled. And you always say once you get a green flag pit stop, it tends to mean there's less likely a chance of a second caution happening because the field gets so spread out, and that's looking likely here. The field is very spread out. 14th place right now is Brandon Cruz Monsivice, who is miles away from anybody, so no one close behind him. In fact, we're looking at 6-7 seconds. That's a cozy run in here, but everything's single file. We're seeing little packs, 4s, 5s, 6s, and that's about it, Rod. So this one is nothing like our first race.
Yeah, we'll have to give me a little bit of credit there. I kind of predicted maybe this race might be the cleaner of the two, and what do you know? We have green flag pit stops, and I'm sorry for laughing at our at our dual competitors that we would have a green flag pit stop situation. We kind of joked that. Again, I think in the last couple of weeks and season 15, I'm sure we've actually seen some really good racing. So we hate to joke about that, but it's hard to do in Superspeedway Cup, in Superspeedway racing. It is hard to have green flag runs and have 20-30 lap stints because you are so compact and you are so close to everybody. So what they're doing right now is awesome, and I'm excited to see right now that we have this green flag run, and we're going to have a race to the finish here. It looks like we got about 16 or 15 laps to go.
Certainly are, and I'm looking forward to seeing how this does develop as we go forwards. But yeah, it's staying pretty quiet for the future of this race. And of course, if you want to keep up to the timing like we do here at LSRTV, you can use what we use, and it's Joel Real Timing, and they bring the Superspeedway Cup to you every week. Joel Real Timing is the premier tool for online analytics, whether you're on top of the pit box, behind the wheel, or up here in the commentary box, or even a spotter stand. It's fantastic. You can get the normal version for free at joel-real-timing.com. That's joel-real-timing.com. Or you can pay a bit extra, and you can have the full pro version, which is awesome. So yeah, check them out at Joel Real Timing. That's a great piece of software, and it's one that's highly recommended by us. But looking at this race, we don't need Joel Real Timing to tell you Spencer Preet is on a ride of his life right now. So
I think you do. I think you do, Rachel, because I use Joel Real Timing, the premier version, and it's great. It's I think it's easier to, especially up here in the booth. As we have access to. It is awesome to see the information, the statistics. I love using it when I'm racing on iRacing. So I am a huge proponent of Joel Real Timing, and I'm glad that they're sponsoring LSRTV.
They certainly are, and you're absolutely right. Rodney Wofford here running in second place at the moment. He's got no real pressing need to get to the front other than glory, which is something he, of course, wants every week. it's looking like he's outnumbered though. As Preet and Brown and teammates and the Schwartz is clearly working together, so this one could be four cars versus one car if it comes to the crunch on lap 37 here. So it's definitely going to be interesting. Of course, the cut line is still, I believe, looking like, oh, Richard Rager Jr. You know, it's not. It's still Monster Vice, and his cut line gap behind him is 7 seconds. So Monster Vice is looking pretty in 14th place. It's not going to qualify in well, but he will qualify in, and there's not much risk right now unless we get a caution. Is that changing, Rod?
Yeah, Brandon, he didn't have anything to worry about either way. He would have been locked in as one of the top 6 guys in points last season, so he had nothing to lose. But yeah, him locking in actually would probably help somebody else in points get themselves in who maybe wasn't as advantaged in this race or didn't have as good a finish. So this actually helps the points guys. So guys relying on season 15 points, Brandon Montevides being 14th, definitely helps.
It certainly does, and well, we'll have to see what those points do with this, but we're looking forward to it, to see how it does come through. And yeah, we had the 86 just go off track again, which is not a great position for him to be in, because I think he wants to actually be involved in the race, not involved in the groundskeeping here at Daytona. The front pack, though, staying pretty at the moment with just 5 cars. Second pack led here by Scott Warren, along with Michael Cozy Jr., Jake Champion, Frank Priscilla III, Dan Harrington, Ricky Wall, and that's that in that group. Of course, Cozy Jr. didn't do too badly out of that, but his pit stop was when? I believe that was lap numero 25. He is not good to the end.
I think 25 or 26, Rachel. I'm pretty sure.
Good for him.
It didn't seem like it was plausible. One thing I want to point out, though, person in the transfer spot looks like it's actually PJ O'Leary in the 80, and our guy Austin Coop right behind him. So Austin Coop trying to race into the Superspeedway 500. You know, he was kind of a last minute entry. He was able to enter the race because he did score some points last season, and he asked if he could run, and we let him do it, and he's a position away from qualifying and being in the race next week. So how cool would that be?
It certainly will be very interesting to see if he can do just that, as it's looking like he will at least be in the race based on our current numbers. I'm very keen to see how that does play forwards. It's looking great for him to be in this one, and well, it's truly an exciting situation for this one. I'm looking forward to this 500 so much. Rod, of course, being on the pole, you must be super excited.
I can't tell you, it's been a really cool week. It's going to be another cool week knowing that I'm starting on the pole, and I hate talking about myself on this kind of stuff, but it was awesome to beat out guys like Rodney Wofford and Mark Jorgensen Jr. for that pole, because we worked so hard. I'm sure you guys saw, you know, we qualified 6 days in a row trying to beat each other out, and Rodney actually had run a way faster lap earlier in the week, and it just ended up you know, on round 2 we were able to make that happen. So I'm excited to be the pole sitter for the 500, but right now we're just trying to figure out who's going to be in that outside line. So, you know, right now Spencer Preet definitely proving that there. He's trying to get those 10 bonus points in the 500 race. He is showing that's going to be right now the premier position, but Rodney Wofford is I just don't like where Rodney Wofford is right now, Rachel, because he's got Travis Brown, teammate of Spencer Preet, behind him, and you know Spencer's going to get the help from the 01, so there's got to be some sort of shakeup. I don't know what I would do right now if I'd Rodney. I'd probably just stare him at and let it go.
Absolutely, and it's going to be interesting to see if that does in fact happen, as they picked up some extra cars in that front pack. 89 and 95 up there as well. We'll see how they can play with this, of course, as the race does go forwards. I believe they are lap down cars. They are. Gorringe and Hogan scored 1 lap down. 2 cars left on the lead lap above the cut line. That is PJ O'Leary and Austin Coop. Coop not having the best of races here today, running in 16th place, dropped from the pack along with the 80 up ahead of him. not a great sign for those guys as the front pack run in complete line. Lap 43 here, so we're getting close to the end of this, Rod, and it's looking quiet. You might have been right after all.
Yeah, it's this is kind of what you think of the Daytona 500 when 2000 before. It's a line of cars. It's who is going to make the move, who is going to make that motion that they want to work with you, and it's so difficult. The one interesting thing we have right now is we have those Schwartz brothers in P4 and 5, and will they do something?
Oh, Rod, question for you right now. We know it's top 14 make it in, but that discounts Rodney Warford, so it's top 15, correct?
That's exactly right. So Rodney Warford
yes.
being locked in, that creates 15th, and 15th runner gets in. Yeah, exactly.
So our cut line is actually right now Austin Coop, who's gotten past, I believe, one of the drivers who just dropped out. We just lost PJ O'Leary. He's had to come down pit road. Means Coop, if the pack catch him and he stays with them, Coop is good. Oh, Austin Coop, last couple of lap might be clean into this.
That would be huge for Austin Coop if he can finish 15th, because Rodney Wofford finishes in. He's logged into the front row. That's a guaranteed spot with me. So it does not take any points, any position away. So that moves that cut line from 14th to 15th exactly.
Oh, here we go. Here comes the other cars now to this group as Coop will go down a lap. But the problem here is, of course, that Gorringe and Hogan will now also be a lap down. And they will go past Austin Coop, I suspect. This is a problem for Austin Coop now, as he is now 2 places down on where he wanted to be from being in. He's now out. Welcome to the fickle nature of Superspeedway racing.
Well, that's just part of what it is. You think you're in, you're out. You think you're a lap down, you're 2 laps down. It's it just happens that way. It's just the way Superspeedway racing is you never know where you are until the last lap. So yeah, right now it looks like coming across the line, Austin Coop 17th. So looks like that's not gonna make it. They're Joseph Gorringe, who is a resident truck driver in the series. He's got the transfer spot. Interesting character.
Certainly is indeed, and the laps are winding down.
Cozy coming down.
Is on fumes.
Cozy's gonna pit,
I believe. Yeah, Cozy's gonna pit. That does make things definitely interesting, but Coop's on fumes, and Coop's not got the ability to hold on here. He's on his own again. He couldn't latch onto that lead group with his damage. Cozy comes down for a pit stop. He couldn't make it in time. Here comes
this is big, Rachel.
Harrington as well. 2 cars out. Oh, if Coop could hold on fuel-wise, he's in by default almost.
Cozy,
although no, because these guys will stay on the lead lap when they pit.
Cozy's going to be on speed. Cozy's going to be locked in, but on speed. But this is not what he wanted. This is not what he wanted at all.
These are still in. So I believe they're still in because they're still on the lead lap. Therefore, by being on the lead lap, they're a minimum of 13th and 14th.
Now we have to figure out Spencer Parit, Rodney Wofford, Travis Brown. What is going to happen there for the lead pack? It seems like they're going to make it. I think they're going to make it because of the position, but maybe not. We could have cars sputtering coming to the line, which would be unheard of.
Right. Monster Vice might be out as well. Here he is, I think, as he drops down behind those 2 lap down cars. He went down a lap as well. Yeah, he's gonzo. I think he's out of fuel at this point in time, so he didn't make it either. Austin Coop is hanging on here. He could be holding this.
Well, who's going to have fuel?
He's going to pass him. Coop will pass Monster Vice. And which one has enough fuel to survive? That's the question. Oh, he was waiting for Coop. Oh, they're going to work together here and try and push forwards. There's some hard racing ahead of them.
That's pretty sweet of Brandon.
Some aggressive racing here. The back end of your top 10. 94, 31, 76, and 11. Pretty
I don't think Coop has
here,
anything to work. If he can make it to the line, he's going to be fine.
Yeah, I think he will be. That'll be great news for him, of course.
Here we go. We got a challenge for the lead. Rodney Wofford up high. Spencer Parit low.
This is it, final lap. On to the final lap here, and it's going to be too wide for your lead. Big challenge by Rodney Wofford, your front row qualifier for the 500. Where he finishes doesn't matter, but he wants the glory in this race. As now, it looks like the 34 of Schwartz is moving up with his relation, Jarrett Schwartz. So right now, the Schwartz is with Rodney Wofford. Here it's going to be 3 wide, in fact, for the lead here, heading into turns 3 and 4 at Daytona. 3 wide for the lead of this one for the win. Who will it be? No help for Rodney Wofford. It's not looking good. 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom. Who will win this? Contact, and it goes to Spencer Preet, who wins duel number 2. Travis Brown and Joshua Schwartz, 1, 2, 3.
Spencer Preet backing up his Trucksters win on Wednesday. Going to be your winner in duel number 2 here tonight. What a win for Spencer Preet. And, you know, he definitely got a little help there from his teammate Travis Brown. But champ Rodney Wofford held him off.
Certainly was, and well, that's definitely brought a very different flavour to this second duel than we had in the first. A quieter, more friendly race here at Daytona. But regardless, it was certainly one that was on the exciting side from its different value. It was more the who would be the last person in. We're looking at those numbers now. I think Austin Cooper's made it.
Yeah, I am looking at the standings right now, and it looks like we have the final car to make it was Austin Coop, because Rodney Wofford did transfer into the top 14. So Austin Coop will race in the Superspeedway 500 next week here live on LSRTV. The first car out was Brandon Cruz Montefice, but he had enough points last season, so he will race in the Superspeedway 500. Just will have to start in the back because of its provisional based on points. So, but again, great job. I mean, Spencer Preet, this guy, he has not won a cup race, comes in here, wins the duel. Great momentum. I mean, you got to love it. And again, knocking it out in the truck series here that we run on Wednesday and Sunday nights. So awesome job. But Cozy still gets in on 14th place. But you know, we definitely, you know, knew that fuel was going to be an issue.
Certainly did, and wow, it has been a very, very exciting run to the end of this one, and hopefully we'll get a chance to chat to some of those guys. First off, actually, you know what? We're going to talk to Austin Coop, the man who just made it into this one. Austin, have a quick chat to you. How that was super close at the end.
Well, the funny thing about this is the fact that I wouldn't have done it alone. I was gonna run out of fuel, and I didn't actually tell anybody. I didn't have any practice in this car, any practice in here at all. I just haven't been gonna come here and have fun. And if I made it, I made it. And Brandon came over the radio and he said, "Hey, you know, you need some help?" And I was like, yeah, actually I do. And I sputtered across the start-finish line, but due to his help, I made it.
Certainly did, and well, it's been an interesting run to the end there. Unfortunate for Brandon Cruz Montefice, who's joined us here. Brandon, you didn't quite make it, but at least you got a teammate across the line.
I mean, I'm locked into the race.
So there you go. He doesn't mind. He's happy with it. Anyway, we'll move on to some of our positional winners right here. Spencer Preet, you came home today with a win in duel number 2. It's got to feel good.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, the race worked out about as best as it could have gone. I mean, had a good start up front, ran up front. Had a little hiccup with that first wreck there at the beginning, but got a reset and got back out there. And then from there, it was just kind of riding pretty much to get to the end. And that move that those guys behind Rodney made on the last lap definitely helped out a lot. So I'm a big fan of the 34 after that.
Certainly is, of course, and a fantastic run there from you in the end. And anybody you'd like to thank on your crew?
Just all my teammates, Michael Cozy Jr., Travis, for working with me there for the whole last run. Shout out to Harry. He was in the first duel. He had a rough go, but yeah.
Well, that's a great one for you. Thanks for joining us, Spencer Preet. And we'll move on to second place in this one, Travis Brown. Travis, not quite the win, but you're locked in. Do we have Travis Brown with us?
There's the button. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, I've got so many buttons on this thing.
I won't tell you what he said in the actual his other button.
Yeah. Anyway, Yeah, we're locked in. That's great. Happy to push Preet to it. I was very loose there on that last lap, so I probably looked like an idiot. But yeah, I about spun it coming through the travel. But yeah, I just want to get Preet the win. So yeah, that was a pretty tame race compared to that first duel. So I didn't have my reset because of that first wreck, but other than that, the race went good, and just wish we could have had Cozy up there with us. But it was a good run. Not too much to complain about, I guess.
Certainly not. Well, thanks for joining us up here, Travis. Congratulations on locking yourself in.
Bye.
Well, there you go. That's succinct. Either way, we're going to wrap things up for tonight, folks. Do not forget, next week, 9 o'clock, you can join us for the 500. It's going to be a big one. We have our final running orders, I believe. We are going to run the full race results before we finish this one. Spencer Preet, Travis Brown, Joshua Schwartz, Rodney Warford, Jarrett Schwartz in 5th place, Frank Vasily III, Ricky Wall, Scott Warren, Jake Champion, Richard Reagan Jr., Joseph Youngkins, Garrison Hogan, Joseph Gorringe, Michael Cozy Jr., Austin Coop last lock-in 15th place, Brad Kuzman of Ice, Dan Harrington, TJ Gray, Joseph Doisha, TJ Buck, PJ O'Leary, Kevin Spencer, Mike Schultz, Raymond Lees, and Ray Britnard II, 25th and last. Folks, like I said, you can join us same time next week for the 500. It's going to be mega. Wait and see. I've been Richard White, and I've been joined in duel number 2 by Rod Flagg, and in duel number 1 by, I believe it was Austin Coop. So, thanks for joining us, guys, and we will talk to you soon.